Um, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. On behalf of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, or the BSP, it is my privilege to share the Philippine experience in developing Islamic banking and finance. Compared with many jurisdictions represented today, the Philippine Islamic finance industry remains relatively young. However, our experience as an emerging market may offer useful lessons for jurisdictions that are also building their ecosystem. The Philippine story is unique. We are home to one of the world's oldest Islamic banks. Yet for many years, Islamic banking remained limited in scope. In recent years, however, the country has undertaken significant reforms to build a modern, inclusive, and enabling Islamic finance ecosystem. Today, I would like to share that journey from our early beginnings to the reforms that transform the industry to the opportunities that lie ahead. Next slide, please. Thank you. Today's presentation focuses on three topics. First, why Islamic banking is strategically important to the Philippines. Second, the legal and regulatory reforms that made industry expansion possible. And third, the milestones achieved and our vision for the road ahead. Next slide, please. Here. The BSP plays a significant role in promoting Islamic banking and finance in the Philippines as part of its broader mandate of advancing financial inclusion and supporting a stable, sustainable, and inclusive financial system. Islamic banking provides Sharia-compliant financial solutions that cater to the diverse needs and preferences of Filipinos, particularly those who may have been underserved by conventional financial services. At the same time, it expands the range of financial products available to all consumers and businesses. Beyond financial inclusion, the BSP also views Islamic finance as a strategic avenue for attracting investments, strengthening economic linkages with ASEAN and OIC member countries, and integrating the country more deeply into the global Islamic finance industry. As an emerging Islamic finance jurisdiction, we recognize the significant opportunities that Islamic banking can provide in supporting entrepreneurship, trade, infrastructure development, and sustainable economic growth. In response, the BSP established the Islamic Banking Supervision Group, or IBSG, which leads the implementation of Islamic banking laws and prudential reforms. Our vision is to foster a dynamic Islamic finance ecosystem supported by sound regulation, effective supervision, stakeholder engagement, and capacity building. We believe that by creating a supportive and enabling environment, Islamic banking can thrive alongside conventional banking while contributing to broader national development objectives. Of course, realizing this vision required more than intent. It required a strong legal and regulatory foundation. Let me now briefly walk you through the key legislative milestones that enable the development of Islamic banking in the Philippines. Next slide, please. While many view Islamic banking as a relatively new concept in the Philippines, our journey actually began over 5 decades ago. In 1973, the Philippine Amana Bank was established under Presidential Decree number 264, making it one of the earliest Islamic banking institutions, not only in the Philippines, but also globally. It was later reconstituted as the Al-Aman Islamic Investment Bank of the Philippines under Republic Act number 6848 in 1990. While Al-Amana played an important pioneering role in introducing Islamic banking into the country, the sector remained relatively limited for many years. Prior to the enactment of the Islamic Banking Act in 2019, the legal and regulatory framework did not provide a comprehensive basis for the
Yes.
entry and operation of
Okay.
additional
Well,
Islamic
ayun,
banking
ikaw ang face.
players.
Ayaw ka na ang face. Saan? Nakita daw niya ang face. Nag-eyes to eyes sila sa chicken. Oh, nara oh.
Hello.
Yes, hello. That's normal. As a result, Islamic banking activities were largely confined to Al-Amana, and opportunities for broader market participation, product innovation, and ecosystem development were constrained. In addition, the supporting infrastructure necessary for a robust Islamic finance ecosystem, such as Sharia governance arrangements, neutrality measures, prudential regulations, Takaful frameworks, and Islamic finance capital market regulations had yet to be fully developed. Consequently, despite the early presence of Islamic banking in the Philippines, the industry's growth remained modest compared with more mature Islamic finance jurisdictions. The watershed moment came in 2019 when the Philippine government enacted a series of landmark reforms that fundamentally transformed the operating environment for Islamic finance and laid the foundations for a broader, more inclusive, and competitive Islamic banking sector. First, the Bangsamoro Organic Law formally recognized the importance of Islamic banking and finance in the Bangsamoro region. It provided for the establishment of the Sharia Supervisory Board and mandated the creation of a dedicated group within the BSP. This reflected the government's commitment to ensuring that Islamic finance would become an integral part of the region's economic development and financial inclusion agenda. Second, the amendments to the BSP Charter strengthened the central bank's ability to support Islamic finance by authorizing the BSP to extend financial facilities to Islamic banks and Islamic banking units, thus help ensure that Islamic banks could participate more effectively in the broader financial system. Third, and perhaps most significantly, the enactment of an Banking Act of 2019 transformed the operating environment for Islamic banking in the Philippines. The law empowered the BSP to issue a comprehensive regulatory framework and opened the door for new Islamic banking players to enter the market. In essence, the Philippines moved from a single Islamic bank model to open and competitive framework capable of supporting multiple Islamic banking institutions. The legal framework continued to evolve thereafter in 2021. The BSP established the Islamic Banking Supervision Group to lead the implementation of Islamic banking reforms. In 2022, the Philippine Deposit Insurance Corporation Charter was amended to enable the development of a Sharia-compliant deposit insurance system. Also in 2022, the Islamic Finance Coordination Forum was established to strengthen a whole-of-government coordination. Collectively, these reforms demonstrate that the development of Islamic finance in the Philippines is not driven by a single institution alone. Rather, it reflects a coordinated national effort involving lawmakers, regulators, government agencies, and other stakeholders working toward a common objective, and that is building a sound, inclusive, and sustainable Islamic finance ecosystem. The Philippine experience teaches an important lesson. Growth was constrained not by a lack of interest in Islamic finance, but by the absence of an enabling ecosystem. The 2019 reforms were transformational because they created the legal, regulatory, and institutional foundations necessary for expansion. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. Having established the legal foundations, the next challenge was transforming legislative intent into practical and operational regulations. Following the enactment of the Islamic Banking Act, the BSP progressively introduced a series of prudential reforms designed to support the safe, sound, and sustainable growth of Islamic banking in the Philippines. These reforms collectively establish the regulatory foundations necessary for market development. At the outset, it is worth highlighting a defining feature of the Philippine approach. Rather than creating a completely separate regulatory regime, the BSP generally adopts a single regulatory framework under which Islamic banks and Islamic banking units are subject to the same overarching prudential principles applicable to conventional banks, while recognizing a unique characteristic of Sharia-compliant finance. This approach promotes consistency, regulatory clarity, and a level playing field across the banking system. Our regulatory framework is anchored in 5 key pillars. First, licensing. The BSP established clear requirements for the establishment and operation of Islamic banks and Islamic banking units, providing certainty for institutions interested in participating in the market. Second, Sharia governance. Recognizing that confidence in Islamic finance rests on both financial soundness and Sharia compliance, the BSP introduced a Sharia governance framework that sets expectations for oversight, accountability, and independent Sharia guidance within Islamic banking institutions. This reflects an important principle. Islamic banking must be both prudentially sound and Sharia compliant. Third, risk management. While Islamic finance utilizes distinct contractual structures, institutions remain subject to the same expectations relating to sound risk management, effective governance, and financial stability. The BSP therefore introduced guidance on matters such as liquidity risk management and the proper segregation of Islamic and conventional banking operations. Fourth, transparency and reporting. A sustainable industry requires transparency. Please go back to slide 5. There, yeah, thank you. For a sustainable industry requires transparency. Accordingly, the BSP established reporting and accounting requirements for Islamic banking transactions, enhancing transparency, strengthening auditability, and supporting the generation of reliable industry statistics. Fifth, market participation. As the industry continued to evolve, the BSP refined its framework. To facilitate responsible market entry and encourage broader participation while maintaining appropriate prudential safeguards. These measures support development of a critical mass of market participants needed for a vibrant Islamic finance ecosystem. Taken together, these reforms demonstrate that the Philippines has moved beyond merely recognizing Islamic banking in law. Today, the country has a comprehensive prudential framework covering licensing, governance, risk management, transparency, and market participation. More importantly, these reforms reflect the BSP's commitment to maintaining an enabling environment that fosters innovation and growth, while preserving safety, soundness, and public confidence in the financial system. Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. While the BSP established the prudential and supervisory framework for Islamic banking, a thriving Islamic finance ecosystem requires much more than banking regulations alone. Islamic banking institutions also need a supportive environment covering taxation, insurance, deposit protection, and capital markets. Recognizing this, various government agencies have undertaken complementary reforms to help create a more enabling landscape for Islamic finance in the Philippines. One of the key challenges faced by many emerging Islamic finance jurisdictions is ensuring that Islamic financial transactions are not inadvertently disadvantaged from a tax perspective. To address this, The Philippine government, through the Bureau of Internal Revenue, adopted the principle of tax neutrality under the Islamic Banking Act and consequently issued implementing regulations covering common Islamic finance structures, including murabaha, tawaruk, and sukuk. In simple terms, tax neutrality helps ensure that customers and institutions do not incur additional tax burdens simply because they choose Sharia-compliant financial products and services. Another important building block is risk protection. Through the efforts of the Insurance Commission, the Philippines has established regulatory framework for Takaful and Takaful window operations, enabling the development of Sharia-compliant protection solution alongside Islamic banking products. This is significant because successful Islamic finance ecosystems are generally supported by complementary sectors such as Takaful and capital markets, creating a broader range of Sharia-compliant financial services for consumers. Moving on, confidence in any banking system also depends on depositor protection. To support the growth of Islamic banking, the Philippine Deposit Insurance Corporation was empowered to establish a Sharia-compliant deposit insurance system. This development helps strengthen public confidence and reinforce the safety net available to Islamic banking customers. It also reflects the commitment of Philippine authorities to ensure that Islamic banking customers enjoy comparable protection within the broader financial system. Beyond banking and insurance, efforts are also underway to support the development of Islamic capital market. The Securities and Exchange Commission has released guidelines on the issuance of disclosure of sukuk, providing an important foundation for capital raising activities for Sharia-compliant instruments. This complements the broader national effort to expand Islamic finance beyond banking and toward a more comprehensive ecosystem that includes funding, investment, and risk management solutions. These reforms are not merely theoretical. They have already contributed to tangible developments in the Philippine Islamic finance landscape, including the entry of new Islamic banking players and growth of Takaful providers, as well as the successful issuance of the country's inaugural sovereign sukuk. Next, can we go back to slide 7? Okay, thank you. Okay, as the Philippine authorities advanced Islamic finance reforms, it became clearer that the development of a sustainable Islamic finance ecosystem could not be achieved by a single institution working in isolation. Islamic finance touches on multiple sectors, including banking, taxation, insurance, capital markets, government financing, and financial inclusion. As such, effective coordination among stakeholders is essential. Recognizing this need, the BSP began chairing an interagency working group on Islamic banking finance in 2017 to facilitate collaboration among relevant government agencies as the Islamic finance landscape continued to evolve. The working group was elevated in 2022 into a higher level coordinating body known as the Islamic Finance Coordination Forum, or IFCF. Today, the IFCF brings together 12 government agencies and institutions that play important roles in promoting and developing Islamic banking and finance in the Philippines. The IFCF serves as a platform for policy dialogue, information sharing, and coordinated action among member agencies. Through the IFCF, its members are able to align policies, address implementation challenges, identify regulatory gaps, and explore initiatives that support the continued growth of Islamic finance. One of the key lessons from the Philippine experience is that Islamic finance development is most effective when it is approached as a national ecosystem building effort rather than solely as a banking initiative. While banks may serve as the primary delivery channel, the supporting legal, regulatory, tax, insurance, and capital market frameworks must evolve together to create an environment where Islamic finance can flourish. The IFCF also supports broader national objectives, particularly financial inclusion. By fostering collaboration among government institutions, the forum helps ensure that Islamic finance development is aligned with efforts to expand access to financial services, create economic opportunities, and support the underserved communities, including those in the Bangsamoro region. The Philippine experience has likewise shown that developing Islamic finance is not the responsibility of regulators alone. It requires close coordination among government agencies, financial institutions, scholars, industry participants, and other stakeholders working toward a shared vision. Next slide, please. Thank you. Having discussed the legal foundations, regulatory reforms, and whole-of-government initiatives that support Islamic finance in the Philippines, let me now share some of tangible outcomes that have emerged from these collective efforts. While the Philippine Islamic finance industry remains at an early stage compared with more mature jurisdictions, we are already seeing encouraging signs that the enabling framework is translating into real market activity. I would like to highlight three important proof points. First, new Islamic banking participants. For many years, Islamic banking in the Philippines was largely represented by a single institution, and that is Al-Aman Islamic Investment Bank of the Philippines, which traces its origins to 1973 and remains one of the oldest Islamic banks in the world. Nonetheless, following the enactment of the Islamic Banking Act and the issuance of the BSP's implementing regulations, we have begun to see broader market participation. In June 2023, Cord Bank, a microfinance-oriented rural bank, became the first institution to receive an Islamic banking unit license in the Philippines. This was a significant milestone because it demonstrated that Islamic banking can complement financial inclusion initiatives, particularly given Cord Bank's strong presence in the microfinance sector in the country. In July 2024, Maybank Philippines was likewise granted an Islamic banking unit license, becoming the first commercial bank in the country to operate an IBU. As part of the Maybank Group, one of ASEAN's leading banking institutions, its participation reflects growing confidence in the Philippine Islamic banking framework and highlights the value of regional collaboration and knowledge sharing. These developments demonstrate that the Philippines has moved beyond a single bank model and is gradually building a more diverse and competitive Islamic banking landscape. Second proof point, the growth of Takaful. The Insurance Commission has established the regulatory framework for Takaful operators and Takaful windows, resulting in the entry of several licensed Takaful providers into the Philippine market. This is an important development because successful Islamic finance ecosystems extend beyond banking. Consumers and businesses require access to a broader range of Sharia-compliant financial solutions, including protection and risk-sharing mechanisms. The growth of Takaful therefore reflects the continuing expansion of the Islamic finance ecosystem and helps create a more comprehensive suite of financial services for Philippine consumers. And third proof point, the maiden sovereign sukuk. Perhaps the most significant milestone to date was the successful issuance of the Philippines' inaugural sovereign sukuk from the Bureau of the Treasury in December 2023. The issuance raised approximately $1 billion and attracted exceptionally strong investor interest, achieving an oversubscription rate of nearly 5 times the amount offered. This milestone was important for several reasons. First, it demonstrated the Philippine government's commitment to developing the Islamic finance ecosystem and engaging the broader spectrum of global investors. Second, it showcased the potential of Islamic finance as an alternative source of funding that can complement conventional financing channels and support national development objectives. And third, and perhaps most importantly, it provided a strong signal of market confidence. Taken together, these developments demonstrate that Islamic finance in the Philippines is steadily gaining momentum. We are seeing growth across banking, Takaful, and capital markets, supported by a stronger legal framework, a more comprehensive regulatory environment, and closer coordination among stakeholders. While much work remains ahead, this milestone suggests that the Philippines is moving from framework building toward ecosystem building and increasingly toward tangible market outcomes. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Slide 9, please. Okay, I'll just continue with the talking points for slide 9. Okay. As Islamic finance continues to develop, establishing robust governance structures becomes increasingly important. Okay, thank you. Beyond having sound laws and regulations, stakeholders must also have confidence that Islamic financial products and transactions are consistent with Sharia principles. This is where the Sharia Supervisory Board, or SSB, plays an important role in the Philippine Islamic finance ecosystem. The establishment of the SSB in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao represents a significant milestone in the country's efforts to strengthen the institutional foundations of Islamic finance. The SSB was established pursuant to Bangsamoro Organic Law and through a joint circular issued by the BSP, Department of Finance, the Bangsamoro government, and the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos. Its creation reflects the Philippine government's recognition that effective Sharia governance is essential in fostering confidence, transparency, and integrity within the Islamic finance industry. The SSB serves as a source of Sharia guidance and expertise within the broader Islamic finance ecosystem. Among its key functions is the issuance of Sharia opinions on Islamic banking and finance, transactions and products within the BORM, as well as on matters referred to it by the BSP and other stakeholders. For this function, the SSB helps strengthen confidence among consumers, financial institutions, and market participants by providing additional layer of Sharia guidance and assurance. It is important to note that the SSB was established pursuant to the Bangsamoro Organic Law and serves an important role within the broader Philippine Islamic finance ecosystem. Its establishment reflects the country's commitment to developing a strong Sharia governance arrangements that support market confidence and industry development. Next slide, please. Thank you. As we often say, building an industry requires more than laws, regulations, and institutions. Even the most comprehensive framework will have limited impact if people are unaware of the opportunities and services available to them. For this reason, awareness building, education, and stakeholder engagement remain central components of the BSP strategy for promoting Islamic banking and finance in the country. One of the realities faced by many emerging Islamic finance markets, including the Philippines, is that public awareness often develops more slowly than regulation. Many consumers are still unfamiliar with Islamic finance, its underlying principles, and the ways in which Sharia compliant financial services can support their financial needs and aspirations. Recognizing this challenge, the BSP has pursued a variety of initiatives to broaden public understanding and foster greater engagement. These include the launch of a dedicated Islamic banking webpage, the publication of informational materials, awareness campaigns, and active participation in conferences, workshops, academic forums, and stakeholder dialogues. More importantly, these efforts are not simply about increasing awareness of Islamic banking products. They are about helping individuals make informed financial decisions and ensuring that communities understand the financial options available to them. In this regard, awareness building is closely linked to financial inclusion. When people better understand financial products and services, they are better positioned to participate in the formal financial system, access financing opportunities, and build financial resilience, and as well as contribute to economic growth. This is why events such as today's webinar are important. They create opportunities for dialogue, knowledge sharing, and collaboration among regulators, practitioners, academics, students, and industry participants across different jurisdictions. The development of Islamic finance is a shared journey, and we continue to learn from the experiences of more mature jurisdictions while contributing our own lessons as an emerging Islamic finance market. Ultimately, the goal is not simply to increase awareness of Islamic finance. The goal is to ensure that more individuals, families, entrepreneurs, and communities are able to access financial services that align with their needs, values, and aspirations. And this brings us back to the broader objective that has guided the Philippine Islamic finance journey from the beginning: promoting inclusion, expanding opportunities, and empowering communities through ethical and responsible finance. Looking back, the Philippines has made significant progress in establishing the legal foundations, regulatory framework, supporting institutions, and market infrastructure necessary for Islamic finance. Yet we recognize that the true measure of success will neither be the number of regulations issued nor institutions licensed. Success will ultimately be measured by the extent to which these developments improve lives, expand opportunities, and advance the financial inclusion for the communities we serve. Next slide, please. Slide 11, please. Okay, I'll just continue with my closing slide. The Philippine Islamic finance story is still being written. We do not claim to have all the answers, and much work remains ahead. Yet we are encouraged by the progress achieved thus far and optimistic about the opportunities that Islamic finance can create. Okay. For the final slide, please. Yeah. Yet we are encouraged by the progress achieved thus far and optimistic about the opportunities that Islamic finance can create for individual communities and future generations. As we continue this journey, we look forward to learning from and collaborating with partners around the world in advancing ethical, inclusive, and sustainable finance. Maraming salamat po. Shukriya. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Dear sister, thank you so much for sparing your valuable, precious time for Al-Sadiq Institute of Islamic Banking, Finance and Takaful. It was really engaging and insightful session. Once again, thank you. For concluding, I would like to ask one more question to you, that is regarding financial inclusion and the road ahead. You have beautifully described Islamic finance in the Philippines as not just a success story, but a story of inclusion, empowerment, and transformative progress for our communities. As BSP continues to mainstream Islamic banking, what are the most critical next steps to ensure the underserved communities, particularly in the Bangsamoro region, I'm really sorry for some pronunciation mistakes, truly benefit from these developments. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Molana Zaidi. Um, that is a very important question. For the BSP, Islamic finance has always been closely linked to our broader financial inclusion agenda. While legal reforms, regulatory frameworks, and institutional developments are important, the ultimate measure of success is whether these initiatives translate into meaningful improvements in people's lives, including greater access to financial services. Looking ahead, several areas remain important. First, continued awareness building and financial education will be critical. Many individuals and communities are still unfamiliar with Islamic finance. Believe me, we've been there, we've already talked with the people, and they are also not aware of the opportunities. Most of them are not aware of the opportunities that this present. So expanding awareness can help empower consumers to make informed financial decisions and participate more fully in the formal financial system. Second, strengthening industry capacity remains important. As the ecosystem grows, there will be a continuing need for talent development, knowledge sharing, and capacity building among financial institutions, regulators, academics, and practitioners. Third, encouraging responsible market participation will help expand the range of products and services available to consumers. Greater participation can contribute to increased access, innovation, and customer choice. As mentioned earlier, ultimately, success will not be measured by the number of regulations issued or institutions licensed, but by whether more people are able to participate meaningfully in the formal financial system itself. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As you earlier mentioned that we need to have some more collaborative efforts, not only in between the regulators, but in between the academia. So from Al-Sadiq Institute of Islamic Banking, Finance and Takaful as one of the leading academic institutes in Pakistan, as you already know that Pakistan has already made a progress in Islamic finance, and we have created a full-fledged system from Regulatory Commission of Pakistan. Recently in Pakistan, new regulator has been established with the name of PVARA, Pakistan Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority. So we would like to propose the Central Bank of Philippines. So if you would like to have a collaboration or you would like to have an exposure visit to Pakistan or you want to have a formal communication between the regulators, Al-Sadiq Institute will be more than happy to facilitate, inshallah, number one. And number two, regarding academia, as we are also working in the field of research and advisory, so we would like to have some more collaborative efforts. It may be the case that we can invite you sometime in Pakistan, inshallah, definitely. And if there is any opportunity and possibility that we can share our experiences with the people and we can learn from the experience we learned from the great people of Philippines and the regulatory system. So definitely we would like to explore more opportunities. Now I would like to open the floor to the participants, and it is indeed an opportunity to hear from directly Acting Manager Islamic Banking Supervision Group, Central Bank of Philippines. If someone have a brief question, so we would like to have one or two simple, quick questions from our respected speaker. Thank you. Alhamdulillah, I'm seeing that there are multiple participants from Pakistan and from Philippines as well internationally. So the first collaborative effort has taken place. Inshallah, we are looking forward for some more to come, inshallah, in near future. And in last, I would like to thank you again formally from Al-Sadiq Institute. And I believe that this is not the last time that we are benefiting from your kind excellency, but inshallah in future, it will be definitely we can plan some initiatives altogether, starting from online sessions to some physical in Pakistan in Philippines as well, and we would like to invite you to Pakistan whenever you plan to. We are here to support you and facilitate you all the way, inshallah. Thank you so much, dear sister.
Thank you.
Inshallah, looking forward for seeing you again, inshallah, in future. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Maulana Zaidi. Thank you so much for having us and for the opportunity to share our Philippine Islamic banking and finance experience. So we are very grateful for the opportunity to learn more and to converse regarding our experience for the development of Islamic banking and finance in the Philippines. Thank you.
Dear past participants, thank you so much, all of you, for your time, and dear speaker, thank you so much. Inshallah, we'll see you soon in future.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.